Hello chess fans and welcome to Chess Vibe, and today I'm going to show you a pretty interesting game between Levon Aronian versus Maxime Vachier Lagrave. Both the players are incredibly strong, one of the top best players in the world. Uh, the game is very interesting because of its play. Uh, just look at the move both sides are playing, and you will get to know why I'm telling you this game is super duper interesting. So, till then, stay tuned and keep watching Chess Fights. So, Levin Aronian with the white pieces and Maxime with the black pieces. So, let's check it out why this game is so interesting. First of all, the game we are going to see is the Grunfeld defense. So, we have 1d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, and we have d5. So the normal line in the Gruenfeld defense is after d5, white plays c d5, knight d5, e4, knight c3, bc3. And the idea of black here is now he wants to play bishop g7 followed by c5. And as we know that white is having a very nice center, so white tries to keep the center and black tries to destroy the center and create weaknesses for white. But at the place of capturing the pawn, Levon Aronian with the white pieces decided to play knight to f3. So he decided to keep the position solid. But still we have the Gruenfeld defense. We have bishop g7, and now we have queen b3 by Levon Aronian. So the idea of playing queen b3, here white is putting too much pressure on the pawn on d5. So now Maxime simply captured the pawn on c4 with the pawn. We have queen into c4, and now black got the tempo by playing bishop to e6, hitting the queen. Okay. And here you cannot push the pawn to d5 because black is having the triple protection and white is having only double protection. So e5, d5 won't work. So white played queen f4 check. We have bishop to d7, queen b3, and now we have c5 by black. After c5, all those who were thinking what will happen if white tries to capture the pawn on b7. If you try to capture the pawn on b7, it's instantly losing for white because of the most natural move. There are two moves so that black can win the game. First is bishop c6, hitting the queen also. So after queen b3, black can play simply c into d4, hitting the knight, and it's already better for black. And second here is black can play knight c6, and the idea is to play knight b4. Idea is to play knight c2 check, hitting the rook as well, and even rook b8. And just look at the development black is having. Black can even capture the pawn on d4 at some point. It's completely winning for black. That's why queen into b7 is not possible, and Levon Aronian decide push the pawn to d5. If you try to capture the pawn on c5, after knight a6, black is already going to capture the pawn, followed by rook c2 if you try to give one more protection by playing bishop e3. So, at the place of capturing or playing queen into b7, we have d5 by white. We have b5 by Maxime. So, this is the special move I'm talking about. After b5, black is already planned to play b4, hit the knight from the c3 square. So white is having not much to do. He has to capture the pawn on b5 with the knight. And after capturing the pawn, we can see that white is the pawn up. That's right. After knight into b5, now black decided to play knight a6. White simply went back to c3 with the knight because black is preparing to play rook b8, and it would be double pressure on the knight. And the knight cannot move because the queen is hanging on b3. So that's why after knight a6, we have knight to c3 back. We have rook b8 still hitting the queen on b3. We have queen d1, and now we have queen f5. Now, the idea could be to play knight to e4 in this position. It would be a triple attack. So after queen to a5, white decide to play queen to d2, so that knight e4 is no longer possible. Actually, at the place of queen d2, much nicer move according to engine is to play bishop d2 in this position, because after rook into b2, white can play queen c1, and here black will capture the bishop on d2 with the rook. Queen into d2, and here we have knight into d5 by black. You have to capture the knight with the knight. If you try to capture the knight with the queen, queen into c3 is simply losing. You can see it. The rook is just hanging. So that's why we have to capture the knight with the knight. After queen into d2 check, king into d2, bishop into a1, and the position is equal. And it's completely playable position for black. But at the place of bishop d2, white decided to play queen d2, which was not a right move. Because now comes knight to b4 by black. You can see that Maxime is completely giving no time to Levon Aronian to just play his game. After playing knight b4, the current idea for black is to play bishop to f5. Idea is to play knight c2 check, and you can see how deadly the knight c2 is going to be. And just sacrificing one pawn by playing b5, black is having everything he wants. After knight b4, we have e4, stopping this bishop f5 idea. We have still bishop a4. Still the idea is there to play knight c2. We have b3, and black simply captures the pawn with the bishop. You cannot capture because the rook is hanging. But so after bishop into b3, Levon Aronian played rook b1. A much better move would have been to capture the bishop actually, because after queen into a1, white can play bishop c4, and white is planning to castle. And okay, although white is obviously not better, black is the one who is better in the position, but at least it's a playable position. But we have rook b1, and now we have bishop c2, rook b3. If you try to play rook b2, then after knight into e4, bishop into e4, black is already winning in this position because the rook is hanging. Black is even threatening this knight c2 check, the queen is attacked, and many stuff is happening. So it's much bad. That's after at the place of playing rook b2, we have rook b3. So Levon Aronian wants to give away the rook for the bishop. We have the trade, and now we have knight to d7 by black. Bishop b2, castle, bishop e2, knight e2, we have knight to a4, no knight trades, but yeah, black is white wants the queen trade. So after knight f4, black played a very interesting move. Many moves are winning for black in this position. You can even trade the queens, but I want you all guys to find a very special move that Maxime played in the game. So feel free to pause the video and try to find the move which makes the game interesting. So try to play for the crowd. So okay, so all those who have found this interesting move, wow, Mikhail Tal would be proud of you, because if you found this queen into a4 idea, kudos to you. Finding this queen into a4 idea is not a small deal. This is the move. This is the right move, which was played in the game by Maxime. After queen into a4, we have bishop into g7. Now everyone would be wondering why not to capture the queen. If you try to capture the queen, I'm having rook into b2. And after capturing the bishop, I'm hitting your queen. So you have to move the queen. And now I'm having the bishop c3 check. After bishop c3 check, you have to go king d1. You cannot go king f1 because of this rook b1 check, and it's completely over. So after king d1, I'm still having rook b1 check, king c2, rook into h1. And after capturing the rook, please count the material and tell me that who is winning the game. It's basically two rooks, one knight versus a queen. And just look at the vulnerable king. I'm going to simply grab the another rook and going to simply checkmate the white king, and it's all over for white. So that was the reason b into a4 was not played, and we have bishop into g7. Now we have rook into b3. Black simply captured the pawn. We have bishop into f8. White captured the rook. Rook b1 check. Bishop to d1. Queen into e4 check. King f1. We have knight to c3. Now black is preparing to capture the bishop. So white simply captured the knight. Yeah, because knight is simply hanging. White captured the knight. We have rook into d1, capturing the bishop because now the queen is no longer protecting the bishop. So we have knight e1. We have knight into f8, capturing the bishop. We have h4 by white. While black simply captured the pawn as well on d5. Rook h3, trying to bring out the rook in the game by playing rook h3. We have knight to e6, rook to e3, rook to d4, knight to f3. We have queen c4 check. We have a queen trade, rook a3, knight to d4, knight into d4, c into d4, rook into a7, d3, and we can, after d3 we can definitely see that Maxime is completely winning. He's having 5 pawns against Levon Aronian's 3 pawn. So after d3, we have king e1. If you try to capture the pawn, black can play rook c1 check, and the only way to stop the checkmate is to play rook e1. And I'm going to play d2, and making a queen is unstoppable. So black is winning. So that's why king e1 was played. But after rook e4 check, king d2, rook e2 check, king into d3, rook into f2, and after rook into f2 on the move number 38, Maxime with the white pieces won the game, and Levon Aronian with the white pieces resigned the game, and Maxime won the game. So what's so special about this game? The main speciality of this game was black's play. Just after black sacrificed the pawn by playing b5 on the move number 9. After capturing, white captured the pawn, which was forced, kind of forced, and natural. After knight to b5, we can see how black gave no time to white to counter his attacks. And black simply crushed white's position, and white just received no time to counter attack black king. And this was this fantastic game. If you guys love the game, then please like to my video. If you are new to my channel, then please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to come up with these new more videos for you because the games are very interesting. And after posting the games, we all learn very much from the games. So if you want to learn more about chess, then please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to come up with these new more videos for you. So till then, stay tuned and keep watching Chess Fights.